What's up guys? So today I'm going to be doing a guide today, giving you guys a rundown of some of the best comps that I think is easy to play in set 4 so you guys can climb. 3 of the easiest comp to play is Brawler Ash, which is merged with 6 Elderwood comps, 6 Cultists, which is strong mid game and merged with 6 Dusk / 4 Dusk Riven Carry and some like the random legendary comps. And the third one is Enlightened Talon, which is merged with 6 Assassins. First up, we have the Brawler Hunter comps. I think playing this comp is one of the easiest comp to play in the game right now, because if you hit an early chosen brawler, you can just play 8 brawlers Ash and just never get lost. The best starting item for this comp is probably Belt or Vest for half a Sunfire, or BF and Glove, so you can flex into the other good comps in the game. So an opener for this comp is obviously when you hit a chosen brawler early. Well, the early game in this current meta is you basically just play around whatever chosens you get, and whatever chosens you get, you just put all those items on him, and it's probably Sunfire and Nunu usually, because Sunfire and Nunu is really strong because it gives Nunu extra health, and also it burns the unit that Nunu's attacking, which makes him do his bonus damage more often. For mid game, you probably want to play 4 brawlers and like any unit that does damage. So basically, you can play like Akali and Kanarina if you want to, or like Aphelios and Kindred. And the final comp for this build is usually 8 brawlers Ash, but the better version obviously is 6 brawlers and play like two better units. But here's an example. So Set is also one of the most broken units right now and does probably too much damage if you have like any AP items on him, and it's probably gonna get nerfed soon. And some other versions of this comp is 6 Elderwood, because sometimes you don't hit brawler chosen in roll downs, but you find like an Elderwood Nunu or something, and you can just play 6 Elderwood and you can play something like this. Here is an Omega High Roll example of 6 Elderwood / brawler comp, where I somehow hit a Aphelios chosen early and just go fast 9 with my and hit Warwick 3, set 2, hit my entire board, and just like high roll out of my mind pretty much. So for this comp, I would say the most important item is that there really is no most important item besides maybe Sunfire, so that you don't, so you lose, like, I mean, you win better early game, but you don't really need like any of the Ash items, because Ash can hold so many different items. Also, having like any rod items on set late game sometimes actually just wins you like some fights that you shouldn't win. Next up, we have the Cultist Keeper Dusk comps, which I pretty much just merged all into one comp, because like the early game is similar and the mid game is similar. So Cultist early and mid game is super strong, but eventually falls off. The best starting item for this comp is probably BF, as it allows you to build GA and IE, as well as being able to flex into other comps. An example opener of this comp would be getting a Cultist Pike or Elise or TF early. So here's an open example of like a Cultist Keeper game. It's like when you have like the Elise, TF, and like this doesn't have to be, this could be like Pike or something. And this is just an example of a good Cultist opener. Here's one of the examples of the level 8 comps. This comp is actually very flexible, as you don't really have to play 6 Cultists. You can actually just play 3 Cultists, and not a single unit here is actually required for you to play this comp. Like, because you don't have to have Kennen, because you can actually just play Aatrox, Sejuani, or you can play random 5 costs instead. You can always drop down to 3 Cultists and just be super flexible with this comp. Another variation of this comp is 6 Dusk, which basically is about the same comp, because almost half the units are the same, but you're stacking Riven a little bit more in this version. I think this comp is super easy to play, mostly because your opener is so easy to play early, as you just play Cultist Keepers, which almost usually gives you a good early game. So here's an example of a game where I played 6 Cultists, but I ended up going 9 and selling my Elise, and to try to find a new chosen 5 cost, but I couldn't find any somehow. But this is just an example of a game where I played 6 Cultists for most of the mid game and transitioned to a random legendary comp, which I actually ended up missing half of them. But yeah. Last comp we have that is super easy to play is Enlightened Talon, also known as the Resident Sleeper comp. Best starting item for this comp is BF, as it builds into IE, BT, GA, and Sojin, which are all important items for this comp. One of the best ways to know like when you're forcing this comp is when you just like high roll a early chosen Janna and you already have a BF. So here's an example of a level 7 comp you can have, and this one doesn't have a chosen. So basically in this comp you just play level 8, you just play whatever you hit as a chosen. So if you hit like a chosen assassin, you just play 4 assassins. If you hit like a chosen Enlightened, you just play 6 Enlightened. And you basically, you hit a mystic, you just play 4 mystic, which isn't actually the best right now. If you hit a adept, you can just play 4 adept. The most important items in this comp, it's probably IE and Morello, but actually I think almost every single item in this comp is actually like super strong. But this comp is pretty consistent because it requires no legendaries, only BF swords pretty much, and it's really easy to play because a lot of times you just roll at 7 if you're low rolling, and you roll 8 if you're high. But yeah guys, thanks for watching my video on like 3 of the easiest comps that I think is like super easy to play right now and easy to climb with.